Today in the Diz List, we count down our top 5 favorite attractions at Animal Kingdom 2024 edition.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that ranks everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 86, where we count down our top 5 favorite attractions, not rides, at Animal Kingdom 2024 edition.
Okay, that was a mouthful.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you did it. Well, I know how you did it. You read it from your script.
Well, I said before we started, I go, you know what? I probably have this memorized because we say this every week, but I don't know. Professionalism.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, too, we're doing a double right now. So we're recording this right after we recorded the Hollywood Studios episode from last week.
Yeah.
And mostly because I'm away currently. This is getting released Wednesday of President's Week.
Yep, that's our school's February break.
Yeah. So I'm not around, so I figured we could double up. We'll get some recording done. Kind of try to give us a backlog here. The other thing that we have going on that should be popping up on our Instagram soon, if it's not going on right now, because I'm trying to think about dates and stuff when this releases, but our March Madness brackets will be going up, and those will be on Instagram in like a poll situation. It will only be on Instagram, so if you don't follow us on Instagram, you need to go over there to do this, to vote on these. I shouldn't say that. I don't know if the poll votes get pooled between Instagram and Facebook. So when I post it to stories, I'm not sure if the votes that happen over on Facebook also pool and kind of combine, because they're both Meta
same company
platforms.
Yeah.
But either way, head on over to Instagram and check that out, because we will be doing our March Madness shows in the month of March, and you're currently listening to this in the second to last week of February. So
I did a couple of them this past week. This one was a couple months ago. It was greatest TV character of all time.
Yeah.
And I think it came down to Walter White and Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean?
And Mr. Bean won it.
Was it?
Yeah.
Where was the account?
I forgot the name of the account. It's
got to be like something British or has reach overseas.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And the one
or Canadian. He was big on CBC.
I'll report back to you what it is. I follow so many different things. I forget the names of them.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't look. I just participate. The one they're doing now it just left my mind because I just voted on it the other day. Most famous people in the world. So they'll give you 2 different people. It was like LeBron James and Donald Trump and Taylor Swift and Kim Jong-il, like that, like crazy matchups that you wouldn't necessarily think of.
Yeah.
And
well, some of ours are going to be some crazy matchups, because I'm going to go through them.
Yes, that's what I like about it too.
Hey, you're booking your trip, huh?
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. I feel like it's been forever since we've gone, because our California trip was last April. So now we're booking for summertime, and we went back and forth on what the right times were, and my kids both participate in sports. So I have to, double check with the kids and
their soccer coach.
Their cross country. No, not really, but I just need to know that our trip is not going to interfere with that, because it's something they've committed to, and we want to make sure that we're there for our commitments. Plus they enjoy it. I mean, of course you enjoy Disney too. And then the other factor, and I'm not sure this one's going to work out, but I had a couple conversations back and forth with Nick about when is Mickey's Not So Scary going to be, since we're going to go in August. We're going to try to do like the first, second week of August, somewhere around there. We're going to do all the final booking, but I don't think we're going to overlap with any of the not so scary parties. Some point we will. That's definitely one of the things on my bucket list, is being able to go and participate in that.
You might. You never know. They usually last week of April is when they announce the dates. So when that happens, you will know.
And then the other little interesting part of it is this trip is going to be part family, because we have family in Orlando. So there's going to be 2 factors that are going to cut down on the amount of Disney time. One is going to be spending time with family, which is important. Why I've been there so often in my life. We're going to visit family, and we're also going to head across the town and go to Universal. So we're going to do at least one Universal day, and we're trying to figure out if we're going to do the Hopper option and take the Hogwarts Express. Are we just going to do one park? What are we going to do? Honestly, it's probably going to come down to money, because that's pretty mega expensive. Do you do Park Hopper, which almost doubles the price of your ticket, or do you do?
You're only going for one day.
Hey, we're only doing one day, so I don't know. It's a tough one. Or do we pay the extra and get the Express Pass, which is also literally double your price?
Yeah.
What do you do? There's a lot of choices here.
You're talking about $1,000 for a 4-person family,
right?
For a one day.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's like going to a baseball game.
But I also think, although our show is called The Diz List, we made the joke about this, now it'll be a couple weeks ago, about how we were talking about Epic Universe.
The Universalist.
Well, and to be fair, there's a couple podcasts I listen to. If you listen to the Jim Hill podcast, they will also discuss Universal because it's a direct competitor and it's...
Right. I think it needs to be discussed.
Yeah, and I think I could be interesting too after the trip to just kind of chat about what that experience was like. And I think the listeners would be interested because if you're a fan of theme parks like we are, you're probably at least interested in what it's like.
There's so much overlap. I don't think anybody's going to get mad if we're talking about Universal a little bit.
No, I think it'd be interesting. I think most of the listeners would say, hey, I'm kind of curious what it's like right now. Or I bet probably half of our listeners go to both already.
Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to be able to do it because I know that you're doing a little bit of a different kind of stay this time, so it'll be fun for you to kind of like a little bit more relaxed, laid back, right?
We're even looking staying off property. We think we might even do like an Airbnb and get a condo and try something different. And I said to my wife the other day, I go, this is a very different trip. And I said, I'm not doing this for the podcast, but it makes for new conversation on the podcast that we haven't talked about before. Because we haven't done an Airbnb. I mean, we've stayed in deluxe, we've stayed at moderate, we've stayed at what's the intro level? I'm forgetting. Value.
It's not much of a value.
I know.
I mean, it's pretty expensive for a value.
And now we can add in, hey, here's another experience, Airbnb.
You've stayed off property, just not in an Airbnb
with family. Yeah.
I am currently, as you're listening to this, as this was released, that's where I got an Airbnb for my trip that I'm on right now. Mm-hmm. Right. So, that's why we're recording because I'm, doing a double here because I'm away in an Airbnb and it's a lot of times more comfortable. It's more space. If you're going to be somewhere for a while, we're not sponsored by Airbnb or Vrbo or any of those places, but sometimes it's the way to go. You just got to be careful. Make sure you get one that's well, rated. And I think the ones in Florida are cool too because people will theme their entire house.
Yeah, we saw some of those.
They tend to get a little bit expensive, but I am excited to hear all about it when you get back. Mm-hmm. We're also considering adding some stuff for ours. We're coming up on we're getting closer to our days of like making bookings and stuff like that. And we're thinking about possibly adding on the dessert party for fireworks. Because the comfort level of being able to just stand easily inside of the, like on the lawn in the hub is very nice compared to having to fight with people on Main Street. Mm-hmm. And then another thing we considered, and we watched a thing by Ear Scouts about it, is the after hours events at Magic Kingdom.
Oh yeah, that's his newest.
Yeah, and it actually lines up with the day we were planning on going to Disney Springs anyway. So it actually is a day we hadn't planned on going to the parks. So it might be something we do. But it's $165, I think, is the cost. I can't remember exactly.
I haven't watched Rob and Eric's new video yet about the after hours.
Oh, it's
party.
very good.
What is the after? I haven't watched. So what is it all about?
It's a non-themed after hours party.
Yeah.
You can enter at 7:00. I believe.
Does the park close? Is it one of those things where if I have a ticket that day, I'm out at 7?
No, you're out at 9 or 10.
And then there's guest overlap between 7 and 9.
So then at 10:00, the party starts, and it's 10 to 1.
Woo, cool. We've done that.
We haven't done that late.
Well, we've been there. I've been there till 1.
Right, but we didn't do it. It wasn't 3 hours to extend.
No,
it's different. This is 3 hours of wide open. Like everything's open.
Wow.
Well, I shouldn't say everything. There were some attractions that weren't. Mostly shows. Rob was going around he got through every ride pretty much.
Wow.
Except for He didn't do Astro Orbiter, and he didn't do.
Well, he's not missing much.
Yeah, there was another one, but like he got a lot done, and it's at this party. It's free popcorn, soft drinks, and water, and then Mickey Premium bars.
So I'm going to go off on another tangent now that you reminded me of something.
Go ahead.
By the way, Rob, I'm looking forward to watching that video. Okay, I have to be careful how I talk about this because part of this is inappropriate. So I think part of the rest of the world is starting to get in on the popcorn bucket trend. Have you heard about the Dune popcorn bucket yet?
No.
Okay. So Dune 2, part of their promotional thing that they're doing is they're creating their own popcorn bucket. Okay. There is a video on Saturday Night Live where they do a parody including this popcorn bucket, which I cannot even hint at because it is very inappropriate. So feel free to watch that if you want. Now I'll transition to this. The top of the popcorn bucket is shaped like the Shai Hulud. So the Shai Hulud, the reason I know the name so well is there's a band called Shai Hulud. They're a hardcore band. My friend Vinny was in the band. And the top of it, it looks like the Shai Hulud worm with kind of that worm mouth.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop there.
You have to put your hand into this thing to get the popcorn out?
Correct. And
That's so stupid.
I'm not going to go any further because it's going to get into inappropriate territory.
So I don't understand. Yeah,
let's get back to Disney stuff. My point is the rest of the world now getting on the bandwagon of cool popcorn buckets?
I don't think it's a bandwagon thing. This is not new because they've done this before for other movie releases
that aren't Disney.
Correct.
Because Dune is not
right.
No. I don't know who.
I don't know
who
Universal? Owns it. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure who owns it, but I don't think it's not Disney. I don't believe. Yeah. So I don't think that's a new thing. I think people they've used promos for this that are non-Disney or non-Disney movies before. But yeah, go check out Rob's video because it actually I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't going to get tickets to it, and then I was like, maybe I do.
Yeah, and be very careful if you're checking out that Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, who you're checking
out. I'm not saying it's funny. I'm saying it's like
very
inappropriate.
Yeah. All right. I'll go look it up later.
Yeah. Be careful.
So I wasn't even thinking about who to have, because I always go through and do a randomizer for who's going to be our patron of the week. By the way, you want to support us, go to patreon.com/dizzlesspod or magicmerch.art. But
I don't know what you're getting at. Am I the patron of the week? Is
no,
that what you're about to tell me?
Hold on. I've got a better one.
Oh, good.
Because as this releases, I'm currently driving somewhere between Louisville and Bardstown, Kentucky.
Wait a minute. And you're probably listening to this episode with
a patron. So this week's patron of the week is Russell B.
So Russell B is looking at you right now.
Yeah.
Well, this is really wild.
And don't forget, Russell B. I have permission to spend what I need to spend on the bourbon. So I'm on the bourbon trail right now. But no, Russell B is our patron of the week because I didn't randomize anything. So I apologize for that. But our featured artwork, our featured shirt this week is one of my favorites that Rob has done, and it is the Haunted Mansion 999 Happy Hunts.
Yes. I figured I was going to talk to you about this earlier. I figured spotlight that one or the house drawing. We'll talk about that one later.
Yeah, the house drawing, any of the Haunted Mansion ones, but the 999 Haunts. We have there are 3 specific Haunted Mansion ones up there, but the one that I really like is the one's kind of like street art. So that's the one. That's our featured design this week. If you want to go over to magicmerch.art and check that one out, and you can find the other ones. As always, follow us on social media at DizzlesPod, and like I said, you can go and support us over on Patreon, www.patreon.com/DizzlesPod. But Russell B, this one's for you. So we'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our top 5 Animal Kingdom rides and attractions 2024. We didn't do a full. It's impossible to do this just rides. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, they don't have a ton. I love being there. I love the environment. There's so many things that I like doing there that aren't necessarily rides, like seeing the animals and walking around and doing Planet Watch, and you did the exclusive tours, and there's just some great stuff. There's some terrible stuff, and there's some really really good stuff. So
yeah, I didn't include any tours on this because those are not available to everybody unless you're paying for them. But at the same time, there is part of what makes this park amazing. I don't know if I'll do one this time because I think we might do the. We're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge this summer, and I think we're going to do the nighttime. I think they call it the Starlight Safari.
Cool.
They give you night vision goggles, and it leaves from Kidani Village, and you go out on the savannah, and yeah, it's not a super expensive one, but it's not super cheap either. But that'll be fun. I'm interested in this one because with Hollywood Studios last week, I thought we would line up a bunch.
Yeah.
And the fact that we didn't makes me wonder about this time because when I say line up, like we only matched 2 rides at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Now it has me thrown for a loop. I think we'll be good here. I think we're going to be matched up quite a bit, but let's see. What do you got for number 5?
We're not going to match up on this one because you hate this ride.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know that's on your list. Yeah. Yeah. It's not even on my honorable mention. Go ahead.
Number 5 is Navi River Journey, which I like for a lot of reasons. It's relaxing. The lighting and the visuals are incredible. I don't think it's as much as a smell. I always feel like smells are such a big part of these rides, but I don't think this one has one. I'm probably remembering it wrong.
I think there's some of that same from the Flight of Passage, like the banshee smell.
Okay, you're making me feel better because I don't know why I had that.
I do think that there is some of that in when you're going through. And I'll tell you this: you said I hate the ride. It's growing on me, but my issue with it is the fact that it's the queue. I dislike this ride for the same reasons I dislike Peter Pan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's overhyped, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but go on.
Did you ride the ride with us when my kids were singing? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, we did not actually ride this ride with you because if you recall, we rope dropped so we could get Flight of Passage in. You guys stayed back, slept in.
Yes.
And I think you purchased a lightning lane for it instead. So we did Pandora before you guys even got there.
My 2 children have pretty funny or bizarre sense of humor in a good way. And the Navi River Journey song from the ride is sung in the native language of the Navi, which I'm not sure what it's exactly. If you're listening and you know it, I'm very impressed. But they have created their own English lyrics that are really
I've heard them sing it.
Goofy.
They weren't with I wasn't with them. I've heard them sing it.
They love to sing it.
They've definitely given the performance to me before.
But I think part of the reasons I like this ride so much is it's just so goofy and such a funny tradition. Because that's another thing we talk about the podcast a lot is family traditions and things that are cool and exciting to us. And that's one of them is my family being goofy and fun. And not to mention it has one of it depends on our list for animatronics. One of the best animatronics in all of Disney.
Yeah, and I will say,
shaman at the end.
I hated on that one time. We did a worst animatronics, and I put it on there because when I had went at that point most recently, like the ball joint in the shoulder was showing, like there was something wrong with the clothing or whatever, the skin.
Yep.
And this past summer when we went, it looked fine. I do love that animatronic. It's a great animatronic. Mm-hmm. It's shockingly good. It upsets me that thing works all the time, but they can't get Kylo Ren to work. But
right, or the Yeti.
Yeah.
But Navi River Journey, I will say this: I enjoy it. I enjoy it when the line is not incredibly long. It's a short ride. There's not a ton that's going on in it, but I do like it. It's definitely my number 5. But I have to wait. If I have to wait more than 45 minutes, I may skip it.
I think this is also a sign of what they can do well with projections, right? Because there's a couple spots in there where they use projections rather than animatronics.
They have the creatures jumping on those leaves.
Yeah. And so I think that this is some of the best theming in a dark ride. But I can't bring myself to wait as long as I have to for it. Mm-hmm. And the queue is just hideous.
Well, and if you get a ton of people there and there aren't a lot of rides and attractions, the line automatically gets out of control long because you really don't have a lot of options.
For those of you looking for a hack, though, go to like if you rope drop the Flight of Passage and then come off, it's usually going to be like super difficult to get on that ride, because basically what's happened is you've rope dropped, everybody leaves there, they're already in Pandora, they're going there. But if you're willing to do it, and you're willing to, and this is, you got to risk it, okay? This is a risk. But if you're there for early park entry and you do Navi River Journey first, get off of Navi River Journey and then go and get in line, you're still ahead of the day guests, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the line moves very quickly early in the morning for Flight of Passage. I'm not saying it always works, but it is something I've not tested it out, but I've seen multiple people mention it before. So it is something that you might want to do, because
not a bad idea.
Because Navi River Journey is swamped if you get there after the entire first part of the day, or after everybody from the first wave has gone on Flight of Passage. But just a thought.
All right, not a bad plan. Yeah, my number 5, Navi River Journey. Yours is?
My number 5 is kind of a collective. It is not a singular thing. It is, because we said attractions. Number 5 are the trails, plural. You've got Maharaja Jungle Trek and you've got Gorilla Falls. Those are mainly the two I'm talking about. There are the trails around the Tree of Life as well. Those are underrated. But I really love walking the trails. I don't know if you separated them, if they're on your list at all, but like for me, the trails at Animal Kingdom are why you go, right? It's a relaxing day and you do walk a lot, but it's like being in a zoo that's like high end, right? And I don't like the word zoo because a lot of people think of like, PETA's going to come out and start yelling at us about it, but they're really well treated animals, and they're really actually partially doing a lot of conservation stuff with those animals. I mean, like I've told you about the rhino population has like doubled because of some of the stuff that Disney has done.
Good.
But as far as the trails go, I just like the relaxing walks. I like to be able to sit back and kind of just watch my kids enjoy them. I've mentioned it before. Be mindful about who else is walking on those trails. If you're 6 foot tall, you don't need to be at the glass for the gorillas or at the glass for the tigers. You can stand back and let the kiddos get up there.
I've told that tiger story before, how we're blocked from seeing them.
Yeah, and it is what it is, right? I understand we get excited too, but be mindful about the kids or not even just kids, shorter adults or adults that are in a scooter or in a wheelchair. Those that are differently abled than you, be mindful of that. If you can see over them, you can still see it. You don't need to be. There's still glass between you and the animal. You'll be fine.
If you're 6'2" or whatever or above, you also get the opportunity to go up to the glass and look, but you don't want to stay there for 5 minutes. And we experienced that on one of our trips.
Yeah.
Like everyone is allowed to.
Every
Doesn't
time
matter who you are, if you're in a scooter or you are tall, go on up, experience, see that animal, enjoy it, take a picture if you want, and then step back.
So I've got a hot take about Animal Kingdom, by the way, and I didn't mention it in our opening, but I'm going to mention it now because it kind of plays into what I'm going to say. My hot take is Animal Kingdom is a 2-day park, okay? A lot of people say Animal Kingdom is a half-day park. I say it's a 2-day park, and let me explain why. You want to have one day where you go and you rope drop, Flight of Passage, you get that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
But I think that another way to enjoy Animal Kingdom is to rope drop the trails. When you rope drop the trails, the animals are more active. Of course they're alive, but you know what I mean. They're more lively,
Active.
They're active. There we go. They're active. They're walking around. They're eating. They're playing. They're doing stuff more. It's not the hot middle of the day where they're just hiding, under the shade tree. So if you rope drop these trails, you get a different experience. Or if you go later at night, but rope dropping them is actually kind of cool. Going early with these trails before they get crowded with people is a really smart way to spend your day. If you're not looking to do that, do the Flight of Passage stuff, rope dropping, or do the Everest rope dropping, or do those other things rope dropping. I think that if you do this, go on the trail. That's why I think it's a 2-day park, personally. We did it this past year, and it was so much more relaxing.
Yeah.
We knocked out the rides one day. The other day was all trails, and if we wanted to hit something up again, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
So that was my number 5.
My number 4, since this is not just rides and attractions, is one of my favorite things, and I've seen this in its multiple different versions, is the Lion King show is my number 4. So the Lion King show has sort of changed when COVID was a thing. The show kind of changed a little bit, and are they back to the exact way it was? I'm trying to remember. They are now. Okay. With all the floats, and I just love that show so much. The songs are great. I love the performers. I don't think we've ever had a bad group of performers, and I feel like they've been different every single time. The voices have been unique but fit really well to the different characters, and I don't know, live music is great too. I think the Lion King show is fantastic. I just love it. I put it number 4, could even be a little bit higher. A couple of them I could kind of switch around that I really, really like, but I think this Lion King show is fantastic. I know you like it too.
I'm going to jump right in because this is my number 4.
Oh, good.
I went back and forth 4 and 3 with this.
Me too.
Kept going back and forth.
Me too.
I had forgotten how good the original show was until we went back and did it this summer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just love this. It was fantastic. And I don't mean that in like, I'm not being hyperbolic. Like, it was fantastic. The level of musicianship or the vocals.
Yeah. The performances are unreal.
And then the acrobats. You are basically seeing a miniature version of a Cirque du Soleil act.
Yeah, you are really.
And it's in the round, and you are participating because you get picked to be one of the animals, whether it's if you're the elephant group or whatever. It is so much fun. It is very, very well done. The actors are phenomenal. The singers are phenomenal. It's just all around a good time. I don't know how you could go and do that, especially as somebody who grew up with Lion King, how you could go and do that and walk out of there with anything but a smile on your face. I love it.
Oh, 100%.
I love that attraction. So I agree with you. Number 4 for both of us is Festival of the Lion King.
Yep.
Number 3.
All right. I didn't even use the full. That's the Festival of the Lion King. I think I just said Lion King show.
Yep. That's okay.
Good. No, I like using the real terms. Yep. I'm glad you said that. My number 3, I think we could possibly match up. Again, this is kind of like a poker game, trying to figure out where we are and where we line up. My number 3 you talked about a minute ago, and why it's good to go early to this one, and that is the Kilimanjaro Safari.
It is not my number 3.
Okay. Safari for me was number 3. I enjoy doing it in the morning. The morning is good because the animals, like we just said, are active. I enjoy doing that in the morning. I think once or twice we've rope dropped Flight of Passage, which is a ride I may talk about, may not. But I enjoy doing Kilimanjaro Safari in the morning just because we get to see a more, happy and active group of animals than going in the hottest part of the day and hearing the poor driver saying, normally we would see this here and this animal is blah, 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 and giving the facts about it. But seeing them, out and about is a lot more exciting. I enjoy so much about this. I learn a lot on here. People say Epcot is the park where you get to learn. There's a whole lot of that going on in Animal Kingdom. It kind of rivals it. It's kind of the underdog for the park where you're gonna learn a lot. You learn a ton about the animals.
If in Epcot you learn about human culture
and
Animal Kingdom
technologies,
right? In Animal Kingdom, you're learning about natural history and natural resources.
Yep.
So,
yeah, big fan of that one. I'm sure you enjoy it too. I don't know where it's going to fall for you, whether it's on or off your list. But for me, number 3 is the Kilimanjaro Safari.
Number 3 for me is all about learning about a different kind of animal. Mm-hmm. It's learning about a banshee and how to ride a banshee.
Nice.
Number 3 for me is Flight of Passage.
Okay.
I love the ride. I know people are like, they're screaming, what are you doing making this number 3?
Well,
there's some reasons.
It's okay.
There are some reasons for me. Flight of Passage is just so much fun. I saw a thing, and this is, I don't remember what YouTube I saw. I saw it on. It's one of 3. But I saw somebody talking about why you have different experiences depending on when you go. And that their glasses, the goggles, the 3D goggles, were purchased in bulk early on. And then as they got scratched, they would take them out.
Yeah. And they're running low on
they're
glasses
running
now.
low on the glasses now, which I find remarkably stupid and short-sighted, but whatever. But I love it. Like, I remember going on this ride with my mother, and her coming off and being like, "That was the greatest ride I've ever been on. Oh my gosh, I have to call home." Like, we had not even left the exit queue, like the store, and she was on the phone calling home and being like, you won't believe what happened. Oh my gosh, this thing is so cool. And like, my daughter, when we first brought her on it, was like, "Can we do it again?" I'm like, "Well, no, now it's a 2-hour wait now." But the reactions that I got out of those two people in my life were just remarkable. And it's such an amazing ride. I love it. The one thing I'll say negative is that going on this ride makes me long for Soren to get fixed.
Yeah.
Because there's no bent anythings in this. Now, it could be because everything is naturally, like, not supposed to be straight. Maybe that's why. But, like, I don't know. This is just phenomenal. Phenomenal ride. Flight of Passage, number 3.
I'm going to jump in because it's my number 2, Flight of Passage. It's not number 1 for me.
Okay.
My number 2 is Flight of Passage. The smell was one of the most amazing parts about it. What I like to do, and it completely goofs me up and disorients me, so I don't know if I would recommend doing this, but every time I go on the ride, I feel compelled to do this. I will sit down on the Banshee quote-unquote bike thing, and you're sitting next to your friends and family members, and they do, it's kind of like the strobe light goes off, and as the strobe light goes off, that's when the door is opening in front of you. I always will look out and look to my left and look to my right to see what it looks like inside, and it looks like this like apartment complex skyscraper building where you can see everybody. I'm getting quieter now because I'm looking to my left, I'm looking to my right with the microphone, but it's just crazy to see this like giant wall of people all watching this also equally giant screen.
You know that scene?
It's just wild.
The scene in Star Wars Phantom Menace. I know it's not your favorite, but where the Galactic Senate is meeting and there's just a wall of people.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that.
That's a good comparison.
It's like just a wall of people.
It's wild.
With feet dangling, or not. They're not dangling actually because they're like on the bikes,
right.
But whatever. You're right. It's
wild.
It's remarkable. And
I mean, you said everything else there is about the ride, but I wanted to add in that little point where it could make somebody, motion sickness on the ride, or maybe looking to the left and the right will goof you up too. But such a crazy experience.
The queue is amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even mention the queue.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, this could also be my number 1. My number 1, I like for a couple other reasons too, but this is so awesome for me.
I think I know.
This is my 2.
I think I know where your number 1 is, and I think that we might match up on it. My number 2 is one that you already mentioned.
Navi River Journey.
No.
Okay.
Kilimanjaro Safari. So Kilimanjaro Safari, I echo every single thing that Rob said about going on it in the morning. You don't need to necessarily rope drop it because a lot of times it's not open right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they have to take a ride through and make sure, like, if wind went through the day before, some of the trees may have had branches come down, whatever. And they have to go feed the animals, all this stuff. I love riding it in the morning. This last time I went, I had the most remarkable thing happen, and I don't remember if I've showed you the video of it. As we were riding, we come around the corner, and it's like, oh, look, the lions are active. And
you did show me this. It's awesome.
The male lion,
yeah.
So there are 2 female lions, and the male lion comes out to the precipice of that rock that looks like Pride Rock and lets out a roar as we're rounding, and just keeps roaring like 3 or 4 times. And the driver stopped and was like, "That was special, ladies and gentlemen." She was like, "That does not.
Wow.
That was amazing." She's like, "That does not happen all the time." We rode it twice this last trip. That particular time was really good. Time other than that was also good, just not like it's different every time, right? And so that's kind of a fun thing. When you ride in the morning, you're more likely to see some of those animals that are harder to see. So like the wild dogs, not hyenas, right? They're not supposed to, those aren't hyenas. They're wild dogs apparently. Or the the jaguars or cheetahs. I can't remember which one they are, but the cheetahs maybe is what they are.
Yeah, they're hard to see because
they're hard
hiding up on the hill
when it's hot out, but they weren't when we were there. They were actually right there. It was kind of cool. It's a fun ride, and it's slow, and it's just when you take your kids on that ride, their faces are just like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing these animals that are like, you're not supposed to be able to see these animals in Florida, right? So it's a lot of fun. You said a lot about it already. I will say that seeing it going in the evening, like near dusk, is also a decent time to go. I've done both. I've done middle of the day, dusk, and morning. I would rank them morning, number 1, number 2, dusk, middle of the day, 0 to 10. Do not recommend.
Yeah,
but that's kind of where I'm at with them. So you want to go ahead and tell everybody our number 1, because I know we lined up.
Yeah, number one is Expedition Everest.
Yep.
It is awesome for so many reasons, and we talk a lot of smack about the broken Yeti. And I have so many ways to fix it that will be very inexpensive and not redoing the whole thing or closing the ride. But this coaster is absolutely thrilling in every way. I love the view on the way up, looking at all the other parks because you're up so high. I love the part where you go backwards and then you pause and you see the projection. But the Yeti used to have movement.
And I mean, when you say used to, you mean in theory and for 3 weeks.
Right. And I think what was supposed to happen was he swings his arm or moves forward towards you. Yeah. And now they just do the strobe light. I feel like if they just have a fan in there and the I don't call it a mane, the fur is blowing, and you just have like a spotlight in there, or even something that looks kind of like a campfire type thing, and then you have the Yeti in there next to, and this is the cool part, you have like a little campfire, and then you have like climbers' backpacks and stuff, not like a severed head or an arm or anything.
No.
But how cool would it be, like, the Yeti comes in and discovers, and all of a sudden you're going through, and because I'm trying to think, how is there light? Like, they want it to be kind of accurate, right? There's no hole in the mountain right there. You make it look almost like it's a cave, and these...
Fire.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Or a flashlight has fallen over from one of the hikers, and it's shining, not flashing, so it's just this solid spotlight, and you can see the Yeti.
Look, it's... How do I say this? It is a waste of the money they put into that animatronic to just have a strobe light on it.
It's
at least let us see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let us see the Yeti. Disco Yeti's funny. Magicmerch.art, by the way.
Yes,
Disco Yeti.
Right. That is one of the shirts on Magic Merch.
But the Disco Yeti's fine and all, but like I want the real thing. And we did an episode about animatronics and like things they needed to fix way back, way early on. And I can't remember exactly what the pounds per square inch of force was, but it was the equivalent of a 747 taking off when it was moving. It was moving like 18 inches is all it was moving, but the amount of force it needed to use to make this movement and it basically was causing structural issues. So I'm glad they're not like risking us by like doing that, but
just turn the light on.
Yeah, do something with it. I'm not really sure what. I love this ride. We both have similar stories about our children, and that's a big part of it. Yep. Is our kids conquering their fears and conquering this ride. Yep. My excitement for this ride starts from just walking up, and you get to that one spot in Animal Kingdom where they've got that like temple looking thing that like lines up with Everest.
It's perfect
and fits perfectly there. I think the queue is good. I think that the ride is sufficiently exciting. I know right now. Ear Scouts Rob is listening and going like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite ride, because it is his favorite. I mean, he says all the time it's his favorite ride, and he's probably got all these other reasons why. I want people to stop with the stupid hairband thing. That bugs me. And I don't know if Disney like is upset about it. I don't know what. I mean, honestly, it makes it more realistic because the real Everest is absolutely disgustingly littered. But that's with other stuff that we don't need to talk about. So I don't know. I just think that
when you said hairband, you know where my head went?
Yeah. You went to
Poison and Winger.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
I meant the hair elastics.
Hair tie.
Hair tie. There we go.
Sure.
Whatever.
I don't know. Is that right?
Sure. I mean,
when you said hairband, I got excited. I'm like,
after every
is Winger and
yeah,
they going to do like the soundtrack for the?
after every soccer game, I go home and I like reach in my pocket. And I've got like a handful because like if a girl's hairband or hair tie snaps on the field, they run over and they hand it to me, and it's like I don't know what to do with this. I put it in my pocket.
The field, right?
You know, there's the other option they could do if they don't want to put a light on Yeti. They could lean into Disco Yeti and put a soundtrack.
Oh my god!
Just once a year, do a soundtrack overlay.
Well, they got the rights for Disco Inferno. They could just use that and then add the campfire, like I suggested.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love this ride. It is obviously it's my number one. It's your number one.
Yeah. I bet if you were to poll the listeners, I bet you're going to find half the people that would still say Flight of Passage is their number one.
Yeah, I think a lot of them would. Here's what's amazing about this ride, about Everest. This is a park with very few rides. You can almost guarantee a walk-on until 10:30, 11.
Yeah, you can ride it over and over. And we've done that.
I've done laps. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. It's such a good ride, and yet it doesn't. I don't feel it gets the love it deserves.
Because everybody jumps in the park and goes right over to Flight of Passage. I mean, if you go straight to this or you go straight to Kilimanjaro Safari, you can probably ride both of them twice or just ride one and then the other. Yeah. And if you're not a fan of Flight of Passage, you could do this as a half-day park and knock out all of these greatest hits and then go on and, park hop to a different park entirely.
So Cooper was on the show, right? And we talked about food a lot.
Yeah.
If I asked him what his favorite roller coaster is, this would probably be up there. This was his first roller coaster. Like, imagine this is your first roller coaster. It's
not Slinky Dog.
No, this is
not Barnstormer.
No, we did a half day our first day. We landed, then we went over to Animal Kingdom. This is our very first trip, and we went on Everest. I was like, "Are you sure?" And he loved it. Like, he really loved it. And I mean, that's a ride. It's a ride.
I think when we first went on it. And we finished, my daughter, who was very skeptical at first, says to me, she goes, "Did we go upside down?" I said, "No." "Well, I think when we went backwards, we were upside down." I said, "No, I kind of understand."
It's disorienting.
You know what part I'm talking about?
Absolutely, it's disorienting.
As soon as they shoot you backwards and you spin.
And you turn.
Yeah, it does. And she's not.
It feels
wrong.
A little bit like a corkscrew.
It does.
Yeah. Oh, she's not wrong. No, 100%.
And that's part of the excitement.
This is a great ride.
Yeah.
It's so well themed.
It is.
It is. If you could bottle up Joe Rohde, right?
This is Joe
Rohde.
Agree.
Like, it's so well themed from the moment you step in the queue until the time you step off the ride. It is so good. I love this ride.
I would even say not enough people talk about this. You don't see enough chatter about this ride.
I don't think so. I think there's not enough people. Maybe it's because people just love Flight of Passage. I don't know. People love to hate on this park.
Man,
it's my third favorite park, but it's not far behind Epcot.
Did we ever do
Magic Kingdom?
Did we ever do top 5 rides and attractions of all of Walt Disney World?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because I think this might be on it.
It's up there for me.
Maybe that's how we end this.
I mean, it's my top.
Man, maybe we end this and then we go into March Madness. Maybe our ending is top 5 and all of Disney World.
Well, we can have some discussions about this for sure. I have a feeling. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yep. This won't be on yours either, and that's Dinosaur.
Yeah, I can't.
Again, this is another ride where our family has like a funny, obnoxious thing that we like to do.
Not my dino.
We will yell not our dino or not my dino anytime you see any dinosaur.
Also on magicmerch.art.
Correct. And we'll try to do the craziest, weirdest thing possible with the photo, the ride photo at the end. One time I pretended to be asleep. One time we were all playing guitar. It was we have a lot of fun with the ride photo in this one.
Yeah.
Animal Trails for sure, love it. And the other unsung hero is, I'm sure you're going to say this too, is Rafiki's Planet Watch.
I was going to say Rafiki's Planet Watch, and then I'm surprised you didn't say anything about Triceratops Spin. No, I'm kidding.
I've ridden it. Have you actually ridden it before?
Yeah, once.
Once. Yeah, me too, once.
Yeah.
No, twice. Because we did it the most recent time. Someone in our crew, I don't know which of the 3, said, let's just do it. And I went, okay, why not? And we went on and we did it. It was I remember because we have a photo of it, and it was during COVID because we had our masks on the ride. I'm not sure why, But there's
well, when you
there's a
guys went,
photo of
when
it.
you guys went, they were making you leave your masks on even on the ride.
Yeah.
I know that because I had to wear them. I was there after you, and
Yep.
they had brought those same restrictions back because I was on Dumbo with my mask on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm on Dumbo. I'm outside. But it is what it is, right? Whatever.
Yeah. You got to go with what they tell you.
Exactly. So this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed this recap of 2024 where we went back through and kind of ranked our rides. We've got some fun stuff coming. Somewhere in here, I think it might be next week, we're going to be releasing an episode of...
Oh, the bonus one.
Yeah, we're going to... So basically what we did is...
I know I mentioned best of everything, but
Yeah.
this bonus one's cool.
Yeah, so here's the deal. We're on break right now. We joked about it in the opening that, I'm on the Bourbon Trail or whatever, but we're on vacation. So it's tough for us to really certainly know when we're going to record. That's why we're doing a double. But another thing we're going to do to kind of give us a little bit of a breather is we're going to take 2 bonus episodes we did for Patreon where we call them our villain origin stories. And it's basically our Disney origin story. We're going to merge them into one episode and release it here on the main show. Because one, it's kind of a fun one. It's fun, like intro to us. We probably should have done it way sooner than episode like 88, which is when it'll come out. But it's also a sneak into like our Patreon stuff. So
And our Patreon stuff, although yes, it's different. It's a little bit of a different vibe. I mean, not too different. I get a little weird and wacky and goofy, and
it's after we've recorded the main show, and it's kind of like, you even mentioned earlier we have our teacher filter. So like we have our main show podcast filter, and then like this is like we're not quite out of school. We're just in the teacher's faculty room.
Yes.
That's what I would say. We're not completely out of school. We're just in the faculty room.
So if you like what you hear on this version of the show, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, I think you'll have fun.
You're gonna get a glimpse into.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
that'll be coming soon. So I'm excited about that. But we've got some fun stuff coming with March Madness and everything. Make sure you're going over to Instagram to vote for those. Check us out at magicmerch.art or magicmerch77.etsy.com is another place you can get us, and check those out. And I think currently, it won't be on sale anymore because Valentine's Day will have come and gone.
Mm-hmm.
But keep an eye out for sales and stuff that I'm posting on Instagram. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.